California is in the middle of a pandemic, which makes our ongoing issue against homelessness even more important. This issue does not only pose a threat regarding society's safety, it is an apparent display that California is unable to resolve this severely rising problem. Today, I hope to convince you to revisit the ways in which California is addressing the homelessness that is consuming streets all over our nation, in hopes of reaching a resolution that will benefit everybody. According to the Homelessness Research Policy Institute of 2020, nationwide, more than half of the people experiencing unsheltered homelessness reside in California. In addition, as reported in the Homelessness in California fact sheet of 2020, 74% account for the highest rate of unsheltered people here in California. I will begin by first telling you about the sanitation issues correlated with homelessness. Second, we will decide on the benefits of relocating the homeless. Finally, we will agree that the lack of access to affordable homes in California should be tackled. Starting with our first main point, sanitation, we will decide how changes must be made in order to keep the public healthy and safe. During such a time like this COVID-19 pandemic, everyone can agree that we must live cleaner and safer amongst each other in public to prevent unnecessary harm to one another. The germs, diseases, and filth, etc., resulting from the homeless that inhabit the streets are dangerous to everyone subjected to interact with them or that are exposed to the traces of germs that are left behind. Homeless urinate, defecate, engage in sex acts, use drugs, sleep, eat, panhandle, etc., all on the streets. How can any citizen be expected to pass through streets safely when they are invaded in such an unsanitary way? Risks and dangers involved with the homeless population that we are to correct are not only to protect society, but to protect the homeless as well. The Homelessness in California Fact Sheet 2020 stated, people experiencing unsheltered homelessness are far more likely to face health challenges, violence and trauma, and longer lengths of homelessness than people that are in shelters. The rising numbers of the homeless population poses an all-around threat to society. According to Scientific America of 2019, the hygiene situation is just horrendous for people living on the streets, said Dr. Glenn Lopez, who treats homeless patients in LA County. It becomes like a third world environment where their human feces contaminate the areas where they are eating and sleeping. Since one can see sanitation's vitality in the streets, we can move on to the next point of discussion, relocation. Removing the homeless out of California will help reduce rates of homelessness within California. California is an expensive state to reside in, and those that do pay rent end up paying most of their monthly income towards rent alone. Homeless people cannot be expected to live in such an expensive state. They are staying in California of all places, knowing that they cannot afford it. They can be given opportunities and the same means to get a job and afford the cost of living in another state, where they will have better odds of success. How can we expect them to overcome homelessness with such high living expenses? Why would they bother to try if they know it is not achievable or realistic? Following the benefits of relocating the homeless into other states, I will now speak on the inability to afford a place of residence in California. The high housing costs in California are partially to blame for all of those living on the streets of California. The Homelessness Policy Research Institute of 2020 revealed, as of 2019, California is experiencing a shortage of 1.4 million affordable homes. It also estimates 72% of people experiencing homelessness are unsheltered, which is the highest share in any state. On July 23, 2021, KRON4 reported that, as of June 2021, the statewide median home price was $819,630,000. Also, without new homes being built, there is only select homes for sale or rent available on the market. How can the homeless ever afford this if the costs are soaring? According to the Los Angeles Times of 2018, if we can improve the affordability and availability of the general housing market, I think it will help in reducing the homeless problem. This is a prominent source to resolving this whole issue. Now that we can see the importance the housing market holds over the impact of the amount of people that cannot afford a place to live, we can finally, in conclusion, discuss how it is up to us as Americans to rise against high housing costs, attempt to relocate homeless, and keep the streets clean in an even further attempt to put an end to this social issue. There's a COVID-19 pandemic and a hopeless population epidemic. We have all the resources to resolve homelessness at our disposal. Consider the risks and dangers correlated with homelessness, relocating the homeless population, and changing the market costs in California. If I told you that we have the power to make necessary changes to end homelessness social issue, but we weren't harnessing it correctly, wouldn't it make sense to try different approaches to achieve success for us all?